Hello everybody, it's Mike here, from Scratch, and today we are talking about the GDevelop game engine, and that's because there was just a new release. Now I went with this title because Beta 70 doesn't sound that exciting, and this release actually is a bit of a game changer for the way GDevelop works. So we're going to jump in, we're going to look at what Beta 70 is all about, we're going to do a quick overview of what GDevelop is all about, and we'll go from there. Now first off, if you're a regular to this channel, you may have noticed the video I did recently on codeless game engines. These are game engines that have a visual programming interface. And GDevelop was mentioned on there. Now, GDevelop is kind of special because of the list of game engines there, fully free and open source options, I think included basically Godot, Armory, and GDevelop. And of all those three, the most beginner friendly, as long as you're creating a 2D game, is by far and away GDevelop. So that's exactly what we are looking at today. So first we're going to look at what's new in GDevelop 70, then we're going to jump into a little bit of an overview of GDevelop itself, and then we're going to get into the new behavior, which will make sense in just a second. So first off, let us head on over to the tweet. Now, unfortunately, they don't do release notes. It makes reporting on their updates quite difficult because I have to kind of piece them together. So there's no straight out, here's what was fixed, here's what was added kind of list. But I do have a tweet to start with and then some documentation to go with. So first off, the tweet from the GDevelop official account at GDevelop app has released that GDevelop 5 Beta 70 is out. And the biggest new thing is you can now create custom behaviors using events. Previously, you could create custom behaviors using JavaScript, but now you can actually use events, which makes it kind of like you can build more complex systems on top of systems without having to get into code. We will see that in a second. The other really cool thing here is you can now install and share extensions that other people have created with either events or JavaScript. These custom behaviors are stored as extensions, so you can use these extensions that either you create yourself or other people do, and you can then share them between games. You can have a central repository for them so other people can write extensions that you can easily consume, either in JavaScript or using this new custom behaviors objects they've done. They've also added the ability to organize your objects via tags and more UX and UI improvements, of which I have zero details because they don't do release notes. Okay, so first off, let's jump in a little bit and talk about GDevelop itself. GDevelop is a fully open source 2D game engine that takes a very visual programming interface model. If you are already familiar with Construct, you've got a pretty good idea of what GDevelop is all about. As I mentioned, it is completely free, it is completely open source, and the whole thing is designed to be quite approachable for beginners. I've actually done a video on GDevelop, so if you want a bit of an overview or more detail about how GDevelop works, I will link that behavior down below. So you see it is available here at gdevelop-app.com, and it enables you to create. Mostly it's aimed towards 2D style games, and you're using this event style programming. So you've got events and then actions that respond to those events. It's a very straightforward method, and there's quite a few of them out of the box. It makes it pretty easy to work with. And you can publish your game to web, iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, Linux, and even Facebook Messenger. You can see some of the editor in action. There are a number of tutorials available out there in terms of versions it's available for. It is on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. The cool thing also is you can try it completely online. Here you can see GDevelop in action in the browser. So if you just want to test it out, try it online, you can, but there are standalone installs for all three of those platforms as well. So this is not a browser-only tool, but there is a browser option. So if you just want to check this thing out with zero install overhead, you can do so right away. Now, the part that we are here for today, though, the new major feature is this new behaviors. So you can now create your own custom behaviors, and I'm not going to go step by step through this documentation, but what essentially it allows you to do is use the behavior functionality. So you can basically create a new extension that is built out of behaviors. So you add new behavior, you add functions to your behaviors, you respond to various different lifestyle events like onCreated, pre-step events, owner removed from scene, deactivate, activate, on post-step events. Those are basically all of the actions that this event can respond to as part of the game lifecycle. You go ahead and implement it. And then you can save them out as custom actions, use behavior on an object, so you attach it to an object. So here they've created a behavior called destructible object. And then you can share them out and reuse them. And that's kind of the biggest part here. And there are some gotchas that you should be aware of right here, but for the most part, that is the big new feature here. So before, if you wanted to have these extensions that you could add to game objects easily, you had to create them using JavaScript. Now you can create these behaviors or extensions using the built-in programming model. So first off, we're going to take a quick look at the installed version of GDevelop 5. And I got to warn you, right now it seems that the version that's online is somewhat outdated. It does not match the UI or functionality. So if you want to check out the newest features, do be sure to download it for your platform of choice. The online version is more, it's slightly outdated. I'm not sure what version they're actually running, but this functionality is not yet there, at least at the time I record this video. So here you are. You can see one of their sample projects open. This is the isometric example. And you'll see if you come in here to the project settings, there is a list of functions behaviors right here. And what you can do is you can go ahead and add new extensions just that simply. We could have also done that. We can come down here and we can search for new extensions, and you see the stuff that's supported out of the box. So if you wanted to have Y sorting, you can go ahead and add Y sorting and import it that way. But what you can do now that you've added this new extension right here is click to add new functions and behaviors. Oops, that's not what I want to do. And then we go edit. And here you see you are in the traditional editing method for GDevelop. So instead of having to create your extensions using JavaScript at this point, you can use the built-in programming model. Now I got to admit, it has been a long time since I've actually worked with GDevelop, so I can't demonstrate this to you in any kind of elegance, but this is the interface you use. You come in here, you see your behaviors. You can add functions to your behaviors, things like handling your onCreated call. I can go ahead and select that. Right there, brings stuff into the editor for it, and then we can go ahead and add events to it. Like I said, it has been a long time since I used this guy, so I'm not even going to stumble upon showing you how to go ahead and create an extension using the built-in programming language, because I haven't used the built-in programming system in a very, very long time. But you just go ahead and create it this way, and then once you've got it, you can go on over here, and your new extension will be there. So we could go ahead and call that guy my new extension, if you could spell, like so, and you've created a new extension. Once again, you can come back and edit it, move it, otherwise handle it. But that is now how you can create extensions. So instead of just having to drop down into the JavaScript programming language, you can create these collections of code using the built-in event and behavior system and save those as extensions that you can then use in other games or to share with other people. So that is the big new feature part of the new GDevelop 5 Beta 7.0 release. And there again is the extent of details I have. So I don't know where they've made real UX, UI changes. I don't know the exact details of how you share those extensions with other people. Unfortunately, this is an area where not creating release notes makes it very challenging to formally report on what has changed. But that new ability to create custom behaviors is definitely a big new move in GDevelop world. Kind of opens it up so that what it means is you can kind of create complex systems without having to jump into another programming language. So you can create modular reusable code, and it doesn't have to be in a language outside of what is built into the application. And that's going to really kind of enable a lot of reusability and sharing in the community among non-programmers, which is a good thing in this kind of a game engine. So again, I will link everything appropriate down below. Have you checked out GDevelop? What do you think of it? And if you do use GDevelop, custom behaviors, is this something you've been looking forward to? And if you have not used GDevelop, why not? Let me know. Comments down below, and I will talk to you all later. All right. Okay for now. See you later. Goodbye.